Hey everyone, it's John here from Untitled Hockey, back with another video, and this video has actually been highly requested by a lot of my subscribers, so I thought I would finally make it my favorite player for each team, so all 31 teams. So I'm going to get right into it, not going to waste any time, but if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, smash that like button, it does mean a lot, and let me know your favorite players in the comment section. So let's get going with it. John Gibson, right off the bat for the Anaheim Ducks. I do think since he's taken over that net when Freddie Anderson went to the Leafs, I do think he's been a very good goalie. If he had a better team in front of him, I think he would be recognized more, but I do think he's a top 10 goalie in the league. Phil Kessel, former Leaf. I do think, man, I got to feel bad for Kessel. I mean, what he had in Toronto and now in Arizona, but he has had success. I mean, he won 2 cups with the Penguins, so I think that has to be said for Kessel. And for me, Kessel's been very, I would say, consistent. Take that away maybe from the last couple of years, but prior to that, he's been very consistent over his career. David Pastrnak, I just think it's a lot of fun to watch this guy overall. Such a fun player to watch. I also like Bergeron for the Bruins, but for me, Pastrnak just this year has just been so much fun to watch. Rasmus Dahlin, I do think he has a lot to grow, but for me, he's my favorite player on the Sabres. I just think he has so much creativity, so much future, and I do think when people get on some of these younger defensemen, whether it's Dahlin or any other guy, I might have a couple on this list, you just got to wait. I mean, for defensemen, 23, 24, 25, I think that's really when you start to see the real defensemen and when they can get their complete game. Johnny Gaudreau, I've always loved Johnny Hockey. When I watch the Calgary Flames, love watching Gaudreau and Monahan, and yeah, they've been like my favorite players for the Flames, but yeah, Gaudreau's number one for sure. James Reimer, yeah, I mean, Reimer, Optimus Rhyme, I've always loved Reimer. Definitely has been an underrated goalie in the past, and yeah, I mean, a very good, I would say, backup option, but even for a scenario like the Hurricanes when Mrazek's not in this game, I think he's been able to step in and play well. Patrick Kane, you guys know I have my Patti Kane jersey. I love Patrick Kane. I just think, again, some of these players are not superstars, but I do think for some teams, I love great players, and they're the players on the ice. Patti Kane, when it comes to the last decade, he's arguably one of the best, if not the best. So I do think Patti Kane's up there. I mean, again, the Blackhawks, 3 cups, I think, in that 2010 Stanley Cup final against the Flyers. It seems like he was the only one that knew the puck went in that building. So Patti Kane for sure. Nate McKinnon, man, unreal. I just think the emergence of Nate McKinnon over the years has been insane. I do like his personality. I do think that he's one of those guys that he doesn't show it too often, but I do think for McKinnon, great shot, speed. He's got a combination of everything for the Avalanche. Seth Jones, I think he's just one of the best defensemen in the league. Just straight fire like that. I do think for me, when I look at my favorite defenseman in the league, he might not be top 3, top 4, but he's up there for a guy that I really respect and recognize. Miro Heiskanen, I've talked about it, a guy that I think can win a Norris Trophy in the future. I really like his style of play. I mean, that's a guy you want on your team. Jonathan Bernier, what a legend. Love Bernier. I think, honestly, hot take, but he was probably the MVP of the Red Wings season. The Red Wings were obviously horrible, but Bernier was a bright spot for a lot of games. Connor McDavid, I got to respect the best player in the game, in my opinion, right now. McDavid is just a different breed with that speed. He combines the crazy speed with the skill, and I think, yeah, McDavid's just a different breed, and I got to respect him. Alexander Barkoff, I've gone to a few Panthers games, and honestly, I've got to say I'm impressed with Barkoff every game I go to. Even when he's just not showing on that offensive side of things, he's doing everything right. I feel like he's just the coach's favorite. He's that perfect player you want. Obviously, no player is perfect, but Barkoff does do everything for you. Anze Kopitar, I think he's been criticized in the past, but hey, 2-time Cup champ. He's done it, and I think, man, he's a guy that he's inconsistent one year, like in terms of offense, and then he just goes off. But when Kopitar's at the top of his game, he's one of my favorite centermen to watch. I think for Matthew Dumbo, again, very creative. I think what he can do. I do wish I would see more from him. I do think that Minnesota Wild defense is pretty deep. Winnipeg Jets defense is not, but that Wild defense is pretty deep. So Dumbo sometimes gets overshadowed, but I really like his game. Carey Price, I've always loved Price. I mean, the Canadians, sometimes they frustrate me, but it's usually Price that, is stealing a lot of games sometimes when this team is, especially this past year, Price has been criticized, but I do think, again, I would love to see a better team in front of Price again and see what he can do. Roman Yossi, definitely one of my favorite defensemen in the league. What he does, I would say at this point by himself, that Preds offensively was just insanely bad this year. So I think Yossi, I'm just really impressed with what he can do. I think he's a rare breed in terms of defenseman in the NHL. Nikita Gusev. All right, so it was tough for me to pick a favorite player for the Devils, but I love what I've seen from Gusev so far. So I would say he's probably my favorite player on this team. Jordan Eberly, another guy. I mean, for Eberly, like the 2009 World Juniors, like that's what I remember from Eberly, and I've always loved Eberly in the league. With the Oilers, it was kind of sad to see that Oilers young team disband before they even got. I mean, the struggles, and they were getting called busts. I don't know. It just didn't work out in Edmonton, but I do like Eberly a lot. King Henrik. This one was tough because I was going to go Breadman. I love Panarin, but I think for me, I got my King Henrik jersey. I've always loved King Henrik. I do hope he wins a cup. Again, we'll see what happens, but King Henrik for me. Thomas Chabot. I love Connor Brown. I love a couple players on that Sens team, and I think the Sens team has a bright future, especially with 2 draft picks incoming, but I will go Thomas Chabot. I think he does need to improve his defensive game, but the minutes he plays, just a guy that really impresses me. JVR, I could go a couple routes here with the Flyers. I love Carter Hart, love Travis Konechny, but I'm going JVR. At one point, I think I was going to get a JVR Winter Classic jersey, but I do think JVR for the Flyers for me. And Sid the Kid, I mean, I don't know if you guys, like a lot of you know this, my dog's literally named after this guy. And not because I'm a Pens fan, I got my Pens jersey on, but mostly because when I mean, this was before McDavid came in the league, obviously. So when I thought about hockey, and my family's a big hockey family, it's Crosby for me. It's been Crosby for a long time. 3-time Cup champ, Sid the Kid, generational talent, insane player. And you know what? You can hate Crosby for his personality in the past and when people were calling him a crybaby, but in terms of what he's done at every level, international, NHL, this guy is just an icon for all of hockey. Erik Carlson, I've always loved Erik Carlson since his early days with the Sens. Unfortunately, he's kind of, I would say, I don't know, his defensive issues have been there, his injury issues have been there, but I do still love Erik Carlson and what he can do in any game. Tyler Bozak, with the Blues, I could go a couple routes. I mean, Sharks, I love Couture as well. For the Blues, I love Tarasenko, I love Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo is one of my favorite defensemen in the league. Top 3 for sure. I'm a Bozak. I've met him. I have a signed jersey with Bozak or for Bozak, and I do think Bozak's like one of my favorite players in general. I do think it was one of the situations where he signed undrafted with the Leafs, and I just, man, him, Kessel, and Lupul back in the day, or JVR, like I just love those days. So Bozak probably for the Blues. Sergachev. I mean, I love a few players in the Lightning. I love Stamkos, love what Kucherov can do, Braden Point. But Sergachev, I just think he's very underrated. I think because I was a defenseman throughout my time. So I love Sergachev's style. And again, he's so young that I feel like you're going to see crazy things from him in a couple of years. Morgan Rielly, for me, it's a no-doubter for Rielly. Again, I love Tavares. Tavares is probably my number 2 in the Leafs. And then I love Marner as well. I love a couple of guys, obviously. But for me, it's always been Morgan Rielly. Since being drafted, I've always been a Rielly fan. I have 2 jerseys of Rielly, 1 signed. I've met him. Such a nice guy. So, hey, no obsession here, but honestly, Morgan Rielly is my favorite player. He's so much fun to watch. And love the personality off the ice as well. So, Rielly's my guy. Quinn Hughes, love what Quinn Hughes has done stepping into the game. I do think he's neck and neck with Makar for that Calder trophy. So, let's see. I think he's going to be one of the best defensemen in the game, I think, for years to come. Marc-Andre Fleury. All right, so the guy that a lot of people say looks like me. What do you guys think? Do I look like Fleury? I don't know, but I do think I see the similarities. But for Fleury, I think I love the personality, love his game style. All right, so the Capitals, it's tough. I mean, Kovalchuk, Ovechkin. Honestly, I didn't like Ovechkin at all when he was younger, and that's big facts. But I've warmed up to Ovechkin. The leader's become. Now he's won a cup. And I do like the fact that Kovalchuk and Ovi have reunited. And last but not least, Mark Shifley. There's a couple players I like on the Jets, but I think overall Shifley's game, I think what he does on both sides of the ice, I obviously really enjoy watching him play. So let me know what you think about my favorite players. I think for some teams, it's maybe less of a favorite player versus just I love watching them play. But for a lot of these guys, just some of my favorite players to watch in the game and some of my favorite to follow. So Thank you. If you are new, please subscribe, smash that like button, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope to see you on more videos and live streams to come. This was John from Hot Take Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.